My name is Martha Del Grande, and I feel very blessed to be able to tell the story of my conversion. I'll give you a little background. I grew up in a family that was not religious, agnostic. They attended church very irregularly, and they never wanted to talk about God in the home or anywhere. So as a child, I was God obsessed. I wanted to go to church. I wanted to talk about the Lord. And I used to ask my mother and father, do you believe? Do you believe? Is there a God? And they would always say, well, we hope there is a God. We don't want to talk about it. So I asked my family, can I go to church when I was a small child, because I lived in a little tiny village. And my mother said, yes, you can go to church, but we're not going to take you. You have to go on your own. So I went to church, and they had all these preachers in. They were from the South, the southern part of the United States, preaching hell and brimstone and everything like that, and they were great preachers. But I was so young, I was 5 or 6 years old, so I got fixated on going to hell. I said, everybody's gonna go to hell in the town. I have to go out and save them. So I went, I knocked on all the doors. Come to church. You'll go to hell if you don't go to church. So my mother and father found out about this, and they said, oh, you are making a spectacle of yourself. You're embarrassing us, and now you're not allowed to go to church at all. So then I grew up still God-obsessed, still questioning. And I found one time when I was about 10 or 12 years old, I found in, I think, Life magazines, all these beautiful pictures of the Blessed Mother. And I cut them out, and I had a closet in my room, a big walk-in closet. And I went in, I put the pictures up on the wall, and I would go in and sit and look at her. Then my mother found out. She said, why? What are these pictures? Why? You're not Catholic, we're not Catholic. Why do you come in here? I said, I like to look at her because she makes me feel peaceful and safe. So my mom said, well, don't become a fanatic. And whatever you do, do not become Catholic. So then I grew up, I questioned, I couldn't find anybody to really mentor me on my spiritual path. Difficult as it may seem, in this vast universe, I never found anybody that would sit down and talk to me and answer my questions honestly about God. And I would go to a church and then become dissatisfied, and gradually I went on and on and on, and I decided, okay, there's nothing there. Because when I ask people, do you believe? It's just like they compartmentalize God, put him in a little box, put him up on the shelf. This is my treasure. I don't share with you. I will not share with you. You have to find out on your own. So I grew bitter, I grew insecure, neurotic, angry at God, wanting to believe desperately, but I wasn't able, I had no faith. I couldn't believe. So my life continued on, and I became more or less an atheist. Then I met my husband. I got married. He was a fallen away Catholic. So there again, he did not encourage my faith. He didn't attend Mass, nothing. Didn't want to talk about religion. So I grew more bitter, more angry, more lost, more afraid. So my husband and I were in the theater. We were actors. And after we had married for 5 years, we decided we wanted to have children. So we couldn't conceive a child. So I went to the doctor, took all these multitude of tests, and the doctor said, no, you cannot conceive a child. Go and adopt. I said, okay, I want to. And he said, you're Catholic, right? I said, no, my husband is, but he's a fallen away Catholic. He said, it doesn't matter. Join the Catholic Church, then you'll be able to adopt the child, because they'll know it's a home where the mother and father have the same faith, more secure, and it'll be easier for you. So I said, okay. I didn't believe at all. But I called the Catholic Church in my neighborhood in Toronto, and I called up. I said, okay, I want to join. So they said to me, what? You want to join the Catholic Church? I said, yeah. She said, well, I don't know. You're going to have to take instructions. I said, I don't care. I want to join. They acted like it was odd, but of course it was, because there was nothing leading up to it, you know, just jumping in like that. So I met the priest, I took instructions. I didn't believe at all. I didn't believe in anything. The priest would ask me, do you believe this, do you believe that? I studied the catechism. I said, yes, yes, yes. I lied to the priest. And as I was going closer and closer to my entry into the church, I became more blasphemous, more angry, more disbelieving, and thinking, well, I really am not going to go through with it. We'll see what happens. Now, at this time when I was taking these instructions, my husband was out of town on an acting job. He was in a theater, and he called me and he told me, listen, I'm going back to the church because I believe. I said, how? Why? How do you believe? What happened? He goes, I don't know. He said, I've been on this out here. I don't know anybody. I've been sitting in my room at night, and I'm starting to pray, and I'm starting to read the Bible, and I really believe. And he goes to me, Martha, there's a God. There really is a God. I thought he was crazy at this point. I said, look, you are cracking up. I said, okay, when you come back, I'll arrange for you to get help. This is how intense my disbelief was. You can go to my psychiatrist. So anyway, the time came. I had to go and be taken into the church. I had to make a confession. I had to be baptized. I had to get 2 witnesses. So my husband wasn't there. I got two witnesses from a play I was in. They were non-practicing Catholics. They were disrespectful. So the event itself was abysmal. They made fun of the priest. They brought all the booze into the church to give me for a present, for a joke. I was like a robot, just going through, making jokes with them. I don't believe. Yeah. Well, you know, it's just like a big corporation and all this stuff, you know. So then I made my confession. I got baptized. I went to my first Mass. I received communion. Nothing. No faith. So I went to my apartment. I sat down. Someone had given me a book by Thomas Merton, The 7th-Story Mountain. I started to read. I started to pray. All of a sudden, it was like a bolt of lightning from the sky. I believed. I went from not believing and being a blasphemer to like complete 100% ecstatic faith. I was so happy I thought I would die. I was beside myself. I was jumping out of my skin. I was dancing. I was singing. I was praying out loud. I was reading this Thomas Merton book. I stayed up all night, so happy, feeling so much love. It was like I never felt before in my life from any human being, so loved. So then morning came. I said, well, I didn't eat anything all yesterday. I didn't eat at night. I should go out and get my breakfast. So I go out. Who do I run into? The first person I see on the street is my worst enemy. This guy that I had been in plays with, and he was always bugging me and criticizing me and making fun of me. His name was Andy. And I looked at him and I said, oh my, Andy, I never knew you were so beautiful. He just thought, what's with you? I said, Andy, I'm so sorry I've been mean to you and that I fought you, because now I see what a beautiful person you really are. And he said, well, what's with you? I said, look, I just joined the Catholic Church and I'm a Christian now and I believe. I said, let's go eat breakfast together and I'll treat you. So he goes, Martha, you're on a drug and you better come off it. You are drugged out of your mind. I said, no, I'm not. Come on, we'll have breakfast and we'll talk. So then I went to we had breakfast. I told him about Christ dying on the cross. I preached the gospel to him. And then we made up. We parted friends. But he was still thinking that I was a nut job, you know, crazy. So then I had to go to my psychiatrist that day. So I went to my psychiatrist and I said, I just dropped by to tell you I want to keep my appointment, but I'm not coming anymore because I don't need you. And he goes, oh, sit down, Martha. Why? Why don't you need me? I said, because I joined the Catholic Church. And I said, and I believe in God. So I said, if I have God, I don't need a psychiatrist. And he goes, now don't be rash. Don't be rash. Think it over, think it over. And I go, no, I'm done with psychiatry. The Lord is all I need. So then I witnessed to him. I told him about Christ dying on the cross, how beautiful it was. I told him Christ was a real historical character because there's documents that a man named Jesus was crucified. I told him how happy I was. So then I went home. I kept reading that Thomas Merton book, and it said in the book, if you want to make progress spiritually, you should make the Blessed Mother your friend because she will help you along the spiritual path. So I had heard from the priest that gave me instructions about the Legion of Mary, but I didn't really know what it was about. I just knew Mary was in the title. So I went to Mass. I told him, I want to join that. He goes, you do? I go, yeah. I want to make progress. What is it? And what do you do? And he said, oh, we visit people in the hospital. We visit street people. We witness to them. We encourage them. I said, okay, I'm going to do it. So there you go. Not only was I converted, the Lord told me how to lead a spiritual life. Forgive your enemies, love your enemies, witness, and do spiritual works of mercy. All in one beautiful package. It happened to me over one weekend. And of course, I don't have that high, that spiritual high that I had on that day. But I always have the memory of it. And I'm so grateful because it says in the book of Revelation, I know your works, I know you've persevered, I know you don't like the wicked people, but I have one thing against you. You have forsaken your first love. Repent and go back to it. So my first love was these works, which I was instructed to do by the Lord. So I'm still a very happy woman 40 years later. God bless you all.
I'm very happy to present my greetings to Shalom Ministry and all the good work that you do around the world in fulfilling the dream of the Holy Father that all should hear the love of God. Thank you for your good work and those who support you. May these special days of new evangelization bless your operators, your administrators, and your benefactors. God bless you.
Shalom World, God's own channel.